A theoretical perspective on the Pharisees and commerce in the temple. The narrative of Jesus cleansing the temple is a powerful moment recorded in the Gospels, where he overturns the tables of the money changers and those selling sacrifices. This act was accompanied by his proclamation, "My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." Matthew 21 verse 13, Mark 11 verse 17, Luke 19 verse 46. This raises the question, were the Pharisees directly involved in this commercial activity? By examining scripture and historical context, we can theorize about their role and motives. 1. The temple and its marketplace. The temple in Jerusalem was not only a place of worship but also the center of religious, social, and economic activities. Pilgrims from distant lands were required to offer sacrifices and pay the temple tax. Since Roman and foreign currencies were deemed impure, money changers converted them into acceptable temple currency, often at exploitative exchange rates. Similarly, vendors sold animals for sacrifices at inflated prices, preying upon worshippers who traveled from afar. 2. The role of the Pharisees. The Pharisees were among the most influential religious leaders of the time, known for their strict adherence to the law and traditions. Although the temple was officially controlled by the Sadducees, the Pharisees wielded significant religious and social influence. Several factors suggest their possible complicity in the temple commerce. Tolerating or encouraging exploitation. While the Sadducees controlled the priesthood and benefited from temple commerce, the Pharisees, as interpreters of the law, may have indirectly supported these practices by failing to condemn them. They were often preoccupied with legalistic traditions rather than the true spiritual welfare of the people. Matthew 23 verses 23 to 24. Economic interest. Some Pharisees may have had financial ties to temple businesses or benefited through indirect means, aligning with Jesus' criticism that they were lovers of money. Luke 16 verse 14. Control over religious teachings. By maintaining the status quo of temple practices, the Pharisees retained their authority and ensured that worship remained bound to rigid legalistic customs that benefited the ruling class. 3. Jesus' rebuke and cleansing of the temple. Jesus' actions in the temple directly challenged both the corruption and the misplaced priorities of religious leaders. His cleansing of the temple was not just about commerce but about the distortion of worship. By quoting Isaiah 56 verse 7, "For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations," Jesus highlighted the temple's true purpose, prayer and communion with God. Furthermore, his reference to Jeremiah 7 verse 11, "Has this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your sight?" implied that religious leaders had turned a place of holiness into a center of greed and exploitation. This rebuke likely included the Pharisees. Comment, like, share.